That was an actual video posted by the official White House YouTube channel designed to discuss violence in video games. Let me make that as clear as possible. A government-run YouTube channel played an out-of-context montage of brutal video game kills. You know, there's always some kind of controversy enveloping the gaming industry. In the last 12 months, we've had Rockstar called out for their crunch culture, the closure of Telltale Games, gaming disorder listed as an actual addiction by the World Health Organization, and still no Waluigi in Smash Ultimate. But the largest gaming scandal we've witnessed this year has really been the same scandal that's been ongoing since video games first became mass media: video game violence.
2018 has been an absolute roller coaster of a year. Click the link below to find our best and worst of 2018 videos for a look back at all the awesome and crazy things that happened.
Many gamers, psychologists, politicians, and developers all thought we'd finally gone beyond the violent video games debate. But President Donald Trump wholly disagrees and brought it up once again in a White House meeting.
Shocked by devastating violence, this time at that Florida high school on Valentine's Day.
The meeting was called in response to the increases in mass shootings in the United States, specifically the Parkland shooting on February 14th, 2018 at Stoneman Douglas High School, Florida. What many suggested could be about gun control regulations turned into Trump giving a statement about violent video games and movies. He said,
I'm hearing more and more people say the level of violence on video games is really shaping young people's thoughts.
Blaming violent media, easily accessible for people who are too young for it, for an increase in mass shootings on American soil. He suggested an examination of the rating system in the US could be on the table.
A kid is able to see the movie if sex isn't involved, but killing is involved, and maybe they have to put a rating system for that.
The White House meeting was closed to the press, so a lot of details have not been made available to the public. However, offhand accounts from those who attended the meeting, according to The Verge, claim that it went nowhere. That montage you saw at the start of this video was unveiled during that meeting, which was met with silence and confusion. Of course, most gamers and opponents of Trump were quick to argue that the meeting itself was a scapegoat to avoid another topic that Republicans and President Trump did not want to address: gun control.
The subject is going to be video games. What do you think the president will learn about video games?
Has he ever even played a video game? I don't think that's what we need to be focusing on this situation.
Now here's the thing. Gun control is now, more than ever, a difficult topic to discuss objectively, but official government statistics from around the world have shown that the more access people have to firearms, the more mass shootings there are going to be. That is to say, people can't get shot if there aren't any guns around to do the shooting. And there is indeed a strong correlation between the amount of guns owned by Americans and the amount of gun-related homicides compared to other first world countries.
Honestly, it's scary to go back to where 17 people I saw every day were murdered. But I'm also doing it. I'm gonna go back. I'm doing it for them.
The Entertainment Software Association themselves, i.e. the body almost all major gaming publishers are a part of, who organize E3 every year, even said themselves, quote, "Video games are plainly not the issue. Entertainment is distributed and consumed globally, but the US has an exponentially higher level of gun violence than any other nation." End quote.
It's a video game. Something happens, you restart. We know that's not how life is.
All professional research proves that the ESA is correct in these claims. There is no evidence for a link between violent behavior and the amount of time someone spends playing violent video games. The Supreme Court of the United States have even officially ruled in 2011 that there is no connection, and game developers or companies cannot be held responsible for any violent acts for which they are wrongly blamed. After research was prompted decades ago by the first concerns about violent media, many bodies, including the American Psychological Association, have concluded that the link is just not there. It's factually incorrect to say or suggest that violent media causes violent behavior. A quick Google will tell anybody as much. If politicians are so concerned about the reach of video games and movies, then, maybe as Trump suggested, the importance of the rating system should be reiterated to parents and consumers.
You can go and have a child see the movie, and yet it's so violent and so disgusting. So we may have to talk about that also.
After all, it exists for a reason, to guide people towards what games are appropriate for what age groups.
UK wins.
Finally, people seem to have a skewed idea of exactly how much violence there is in video games. There aren't that many which portray gratuitous violence and extreme gore, and even fewer which do it just for the hell of it. Those that do, like the frequently referenced Mortal Kombat franchise or Manhunt 2, gain notoriety because they feature so much violence. They're also strongly legislated in their own right, with Manhunt 2 banned in dozens of countries and Mortal Kombat being partially responsible for creating the very rating system all games released in the US must abide by. This proves that video games are not at all unregulated, and their content is scrutinized closely to make sure it's appropriate. And if not, then even a developer as big as Rockstar can't stop their product from being pulled from shelves. There are also plenty of video games that don't feature any violence whatsoever, or at the very least some cartoonish action. All one needs to do is basically look for any game rated E for everyone. Ultimately though, people choose whether or not they want to play a video game no matter how violent it may be, but next to nobody chooses to get shot. Gun violence may be a huge problem, but the science is clear on the fact that video games are not at the root of it. No studio or publisher has ever been punished for a crime, even murders, because it's always ruled that the assailants are the ones to blame. Check out these other great clips from MojoPlays, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.